Allshark, skinless, boneless sardines in soy oil. Bought these south of Tampa, Florida sometime a few years ago. And of course, there's still plenty of time to eat them because canned sardines virtually never go bad. I bought these at a Middle Eastern food store. They had several different kinds of sardines that I hadn't seen before, and this will be the first one that I'm actually trying. Like the package, because as you know, I like it. Makes me think I'm getting a gift because it's in a box. Just by the picture, they look a little bit saucy. So I'm not expecting them to be just plain meat. We'll see what comes in the package and in the can. Again, I like all that cool writing on there. I don't know what they call Middle Eastern writing. One of these days I'm going to have to get my glasses prescription updated. On the back of the can it says skinless and boneless sardines and soya oil, product of Morocco, ocean caught. That's the first I've seen that terminology, ocean caught. But we know that all sardines are wild caught and they are not from the farm raised. Not a lot of information on the package, so let's just open it up. Not my favorite box because I like the closable lids. Not that I'm going to close them again, but. And I'm also impressed if it's precisely fit into the box and it slides out like a deck of cards, which it did. Nice. It's a gold can, which signifies a little more premium effort and concern when marketing and packaging. All right, so far. And when you do that, I work with metal all the time. That just feels to me like a piece of solid metal. I love that. All right, let's open it up. You know what? It's a little bit puffed out. Tiny, tiny amount. Probably nothing but work. All the oil was wanting to ooze out the top because that's why it was a little bit oil canned there, because so much oil in there. Pretty full can, full of oil and full of fillets. There's no room left. They really give you your money's worth on this. When I open it up, I can definitely tell these are the Atlantic, the warmer waters of the Atlantic variety, Portugal, Spain, Morocco. They definitely have a signature odor. Not strong. Boy, these things really are packed in there tight. Look at that. I mean, I can barely get the fork in. Typically, you got 3 of those big, robust fat boys that are in there when you get the scaled and the full-bodied ones. And there's a space in between there. But these with the fillets, they are packed in there like sardines. See if we can lift one out without making a mess. Come on out. Come on out. Wow. They are breaking apart a little bit. So, because these are the larger variety, and they filleted them and then packed them back in there together, the fillets seem to be, oh, silly me. These are not really fillets. In fact, it says nothing about fillets on the package. I just made an assumption. These are skinless, boneless, full-bodied fish. Interesting. Well, that makes a lot more sense. So let me pull one of those full-bodied chunks out. But then I still have the question, why are they so packed in here? Because there's more than 3. There's 5 of them in here. Wow, cool. Okay. And I'm surprised because the price on this was rather inexpensive. They don't want to hold together, though. Once you put them on a can, they fall apart. All right, best I can do. Best I can do right here. That's what it looks like. See, it's a full sardine. It's just skin and bones removed. I'd like to see how that process works. I know how they get the skin off. I believe they put them in a tumbler with some kind of not aggregate, obviously, because you'd be chewing that all the time, but probably some hard rubber type objects that tumble these along with thousands of these fish, and just the friction takes off all the scales and the skin. But how they get the bones out is something that would be well worth researching. Now, since I can't break them apart, well, I could, but it's a little bit inconvenient. We're just going to mow down on one big skinless, boneless hunk of fish. First, to take a whiff. All right, they don't smell as strong as they typically would with, their clothes on. Not an overpowering fishy smell. You can see the darkness of the meat on there. That's the fatty meat. That's like dark meat chicken. Dark meat is the meat where the muscles are more active. They build up a bigger blood supply and a bigger fat supply in there. But dark meat is anything that moves on an animal, typically, or at least fish and birds, is going to build up that darkness in the meat. And that's also where all the contaminants come in. Sardines, very low in contaminants because they're really low on the food chain. They get ate by everything else. It's the ones up high on the food chain that do all the eating of other animals that accumulate all the toxins. Enough said. We'll see how it goes. Mildly rubbery. Like a sponge rubbery. Like one of them balls that you play catch with your dog. Not a high burst of flavor. Again, I think I've determined in the past that the skin and the fins and some of the stuff that's inside adds another, well, at least 1, maybe 2 levels of flavor. When you take all that off and you have just the meat, you have less flavor. Also, this is soy oil, which I prefer not to eat. But soy oil does not have a whole lot of flavor that I'm aware of. Now there's a half, more like a fillet, but it's not really a fillet because it's the full body, just half of the full body. So this is a winner for those of you who are into the mild fish. But let me see what this does. I'm going to eat just the fatty portion, the dark meat. I'm sure that some of you are dark meat chicken lovers. So we'll put just the dark meat on. All right. Resembles muskrat. A different level of aroma. That would make sense because there's more blood content in there. Kind of like organ meat, perhaps. All right, let's see if this raises it a notch. Definitely does. Man, okay. Well, it shouldn't be surprised because when you eat any kind of meat smoked, like a smoked fish, it's especially evident. When you eat the dark part or the fatty part, oh wow, it just accelerates it way up on the chain of flavor. So that definitely knocked it up a couple notches. But who's going to sit there and just use the dark meat of these little tiny fish? This kind of, so I'm thinking these were like $2 a can. They were really cheap. These are far better than the typical Morocco ones that I've gotten before. But then I typically eat those with the skin and the scales and all the entrails that might be left in there. They add a lot of flavor to it, but it's not necessarily a good flavor. I tend to like the small, slender ones from the northern cold waters compared to these big, robust ones from the southern, warmer waters. But this one, stripped of all of its covering, removing the bones, makes it a real good entry-level sardine. Well, I'm going to leave it right there, and I will share this with my crew because they are just starving after all the work they put into my really highly professional videos. They deserve all that I can give them. One last look. Allshark, skinless, boneless sardines in soy oil. Really good, worth the money, very mild. Give it a try. Till next time, thanks for watching.